Welcome to the Georgia Highlands College Math 97 and Math 99 video tutorials. In this video segment, we'll be answering the question, how do you factor a difference of cubes? Now, in the last video, we talked about factoring a sum of cubes, and it's the same exact process. The only difference is that it's a difference. It's a cubed minus b cubed. But all the other steps are the exact same. So let's walk through those steps again to help you better understand the process. The first step is to identify that your binomial is actually a difference of cubes, so that you can place each monomial or integer into your parentheses and cube it to get the same binomial that you began with. Once you've identified that your binomial is actually a difference of cubes, you can move into the factoring process. You start by setting up your parentheses, a short one out front and then a long one. And then, as you know, you should always use SOAP. So, same, opposite, always positive. This time, since we're factoring a difference of cubes, the same sign is subtraction. So that goes in the first set of parentheses. Then the opposite sign begins the second set. So we put a plus sign there. And then finally, that last term is always positive. So same, opposite, always positive. The same thing goes for how you place those monomials or integers into your set of parentheses. Singles out front, a minus b, square ends, a squared and b squared. And then we have singles in the center, and it's a product, a times b. Finally, we'll simplify that set of parentheses, or both sets of parentheses, and then we'll check with multiplication. Now let's take a look at an example. As you can see here, we have the example 125x cubed minus 8. And the first step in our process is to verify that this is actually a difference of cubes. So I'd like to see if I can fit into that mold of something cubed minus something cubed. So taking a look at that first term, we have 125x cubed. Well, 5 cubed is 125. And x cubed is obviously x cubed, so the monomial that we will cube is 5x. Moving on to the 8, we know that when we cube 2, that gives us 8. So we've just verified that that binomial is actually a difference of cubes. Now we're ready to set up our parentheses to begin factoring. So we have a short set out front and then a longer set. Now we're ready to use SOAP, same, opposite, always positive. We have singles out front, 5x and 2. Now we're ready to do our squares on the ends, but don't forget to use your parentheses when you square. So we have 5x squared and 2 squared. And then our singles meet in the middle as a product, 5x times 2. So our next step is to simplify these parentheses. Well, there's nothing to be done with that first set of parentheses, so I'll just rewrite it to include it in the final factored form. And now moving on to the second set, 5x squared gives 25x squared. 5x times 2 is positive 10x, and 2 squared is positive 4, ending our second set of parentheses. That is the factored form of 125x cubed minus 8. However, let's check just to be sure. So when we multiply 5x minus 2 with 25x squared plus 10x plus 4, we do so by distributing each term in the first set of parentheses with each term in the second set. So I start by distributing my 5x to all terms in the second set of parentheses. 5x times 25x squared gives 125x cubed. 5x times 10x is positive 50x squared. 5x times 4 is positive 20x. Now moving to distributing the negative 2 to all of the terms in the second set of parentheses. So negative 2 times 25x squared is negative 50x squared. Negative 2 times positive 10x is negative 20x. And negative 2 times positive 4 is negative 8. We come back and combine our like terms, and we see we actually have, once again, two pairs of opposite terms. So 50x squared and negative 50x squared combine to make 0. 20x and negative 20x also combine to make 0. We are finally left with 125x cubed and a negative 8, showing that indeed we end up with the same binomial or difference of cubes that we started out with. Therefore, we can safely say that 5x minus 2 times 25x squared plus 10x plus 4 is the factored form of the difference of cubes, 125x cubed minus 8. I hope that this video has been helpful for you in understanding how to factor a difference of cubes. Don't forget that it's the same process for sum of cubes. You're just going to have different signs that you're dealing with, but they both fall into that pattern of same, opposite, always positive. If you have any other questions about this topic, please feel free to contact your Highlands instructor. Thank you.